Hello, public opinion aficionados, and welcome to Rasmussen Reports, where we hold the government accountable for its failures by giving the people a voice. And guess what? The people are voicing quite a bit of concern about government failures right now, especially after this weekend's horrendous security by the Secret Service at the Butler, PA rally, where the leading presidential candidate in the 2024 race, Donald Trump, was quite literally shot in the head. And if that's not a horrendous failure, I don't know what is. But today we continue our coverage with post-assassination attempt polling from earlier this week. And we have some really astounding stuff to cover. But if you haven't seen them yet, our two previous videos, the first one, covers our general thoughts about the event and the political discourse that led up to it. And the second covers who's more to blame, Trump's political opponents or the mental health of the shooter itself. Now, U.S. likely voters are pretty much split on that, but Republican voters overwhelmingly think that it's the political rhetoric of Trump's opponents that's more to blame for the shooting. That's pretty incredible. But getting right into it, former President Donald Trump was recently the target of an assassination attempt. How concerned are you that there might be another attempt to assassinate Donald Trump? And people are really, really concerned. 65% of them, in fact, are at least somewhat concerned, and 43% are very concerned. Only 32% are not concerned, only 15% not very concerned. That's a pretty high level of concern. It's roughly flat across men and women. There's a little bit of an age signal. 18 to 39-year-olds are only 65% concerned, 35% very, but 40 to 64-year-olds, 68%, but 50% very concerned. There's really not too much going on in race other than the fact that Black voters are least concerned that there will be another attempted assassination of Donald Trump, but it's still a majority of them, 55%, though only 33% of them are very concerned, to pretty much, call that 44% for everybody else. But there is a party signal. And for Democrats, it is 42% of them who are concerned, at least somewhat, that Donald Trump will be shot at again, or, maybe something else. But a majority of them are not concerned. It's a totally different story among Republicans. 85% of Republicans are at least somewhat concerned, 63% very concerned. That's a really big signal. And of course, it's, a lot of it is because their candidate was just shot. But they don't think, in my opinion, looking at these numbers, that it was just a fluke, isolated event. Only 14% of Republicans are not concerned. Only 7% are not at all concerned. But look at independents. I think it's fair to say they're polling a lot more like Republicans here, as they do in so many topics recently, but that's a 70% number concerned, 43% very concerned, only 26% not concerned. Only 11% of independents are not at all concerned that somebody's going to try and kill Donald Trump again. But, the reason I got a big blue spot in the bottom is because we actually asked the same question for Joe Biden here. And here we have the results, matched up so you can compare them. How concerned are you that someone might attempt to assassinate President Joe Biden? And voters are also somewhat concerned about this. Just 50%, only 25% very concerned. If you're keeping track, the total concern here is 25 points less than Donald Trump, and 46% are not concerned, although 21% are not at all concerned. Now, what's really interesting here is that these numbers are pretty much flat across all demographics. White voters are way less concerned here. 49% of white voters are concerned, whereas it was 66% of white voters concerned about Donald Trump. Although Black voters do say they're more concerned about an assassination attempt of Joe Biden than they are of Donald Trump. I think that's an interesting signal. But look at the party numbers. Democrats are concerned. 68% of them. Maybe they think it's retribution. Maybe there's just a lot of crazy people with guns out there. But that 68% is less, quite a bit, than the 85% of Republicans who are concerned about Trump And, only 30% of Democrats not concerned. 39% of Republicans are concerned about an assassination attempt of Biden, but that's less than the number of Democrats concerned about Trump. And more of them, 31%, are not at all concerned than Democrats, 26% about Trump. And independents, though, are way less afraid of a Joe Biden assassination attempt. It's 41% of them that are concerned compared to, again, 70% who are concerned about Donald Trump. I often call the independents the truth tellers because they have, less of a dog in the political hunt. I don't know. I think that's meaningful. Now, here, this slide again is to show, the street smart signal, or maybe the elitist versus everyone else signal. But look up here at those with incomes, under, call it 50K, under 30K, 69% of them are concerned, high number. Under 50K, 70%, call that all 70% are concerned, 48% very concerned. But people with incomes over 200,000 are much less concerned that there will be a repeat attempted assassination of Donald Trump. 70% on the low end to 49% for incomes over 200,000. And that's a really strong signal. And only 31% of upper income voters are very concerned. If you look at education, 74% of people with just high school education are concerned, but only 54% of voters with graduate degrees. Now, if we look at the bottom, what's fascinating here is that with Joe Biden, the concern seems pretty flat across every single one of these income and education demographics. Don't you think that's fascinating that trend of people lower down, whatever, the food chain, are much more concerned about Trump? I don't know. I thought that was worth including. Now, here's another demographic slide. We don't have to get into all these, but Joe Biden job approval is always fascinating. 29% of Joe Biden's strong approvers are concerned about Trump, but 79% of them are concerned about Biden. 49% very. But on the flip side, 92% of Joe Biden's strong disapprovers are concerned that somebody's going to try and kill Trump again. Only 7% not concerned, only 3% not at all concerned. And those people really don't have any concern about Biden. 31%, whatever, 16% of them are very concerned. That 92% number is big and fascinating and meaningful. And, you can pause the screen and look at the other stuff. If you find anything you think's interesting, post it in the YouTube comments. How confident are you that the Secret Service can protect against future assassination attempts? And a pretty thin majority, 55%, are at least somewhat confident, but only 19% of Americans are very confident. I think back at my life, and I have to recall how legendary the U.S. Secret Service has been treated in press and media and public discourse, but only 1 in 5 voters is very confident in their ability to protect against future assassination attempts. That's stunning. 41% are not confident, although only 14% are not at all confident. Democrats are much more confident than anybody else. They are dragging the numbers up. 67% of Democrats are confident, but only 27% very confident. But Republicans, it's 44% of them that are confident. So still, they're basically split. And independents poll in the middle again, but it's, 53%. So a small majority of independents. But again, a bigger signal to be found than anywhere else in the crosstabs is in Joe Biden job approval. 81% of Joe Biden's strong approvers are very confident that the Secret Service will do its job. 40% strongly. Those people do trust the government more, but Joe Biden's strong disapprovers, only 10%, are very confident, although 40% are at least somewhat confident. 59% or a majority are not confident. Has the assassination attempt against Donald Trump made you more confident or less confident in the Secret Service, or has it not made much difference? And how confident you are in them. And only 12% of the electorate is more confident. I'm surprised it's not zero. 54% is less confident. That's a pretty big number. 31%, not much difference. Everybody is more or less confident than more confident. 43% less confident for Democrats, 65% for Republicans, 53% for independents. And again, a stronger signal among the Joe Biden job approval numbers. Now, those numbers are bad, and they do show a stunning collapse in confidence for the U.S. Secret Service. But believe it or not, those numbers are not nearly as bad as the media numbers. Keep in mind that 60% of all U.S. likely voters think media is the enemy of the people. And when we asked a similar question to this most recent one, is media bias getting better or worse? Only 9% of the electorate says better, but 61% says worse. That's terrible. And keep in mind, those media numbers are actually from before the debate, before the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Let's take a moment, though, to check in on your favorite media outlet. And here's looking at CNN. Less than 5 days after a presidential candidate almost died. And if you look at what they're talking about, they're trying to get Joe Biden out of the race. Really stunning how little real estate there is here about the attempted assassination. And I think you'd probably find something very similar in all the other mainstream media sites. So anyway, stand by for our swing state data, which we started dropping today. There's really great stories. You can go check them out on rasmussenreports.com or subscribe on Twitter. You can read all of our stories there. Today, we talk about people in the swing states and nationally, what they think about ESG, as well as oil drilling and climate change. Fascinating stuff, but the matchups are coming soon. We can only hope that they're still relevant and Biden stays in the race. So follow us on Twitter at Rasmussen_poll so you don't miss it. Hit me up too as well at Mark_R_Mitchell. Make sure you like the video and follow us on YouTube or Rumble while you're there. And thanks for watching.